It's the one and only 5D Transformations. Black man, this message is for you. I've realized that in this world right now, there's a lot of forces that are in place that have you in a position where people look down, where you embracing your culture automatically puts you in a box, right? People look down on rappers and artists, but nobody thinks about the fact that for the black men out there, so many black men that are in so many unfortunate situations, not having fathers in their lives, growing up in a world where, you know, they've been there's been systems in place to keep you down from the beginning of, since your ancestors stepped foot on this in this country. Um, what we got to understand is when you see a rapper, what do you see? You see somebody that's standing in their power. You see somebody that is saying what they really want to say. That's unfiltered. You're seeing somebody that, you know, is confident. You're seeing somebody that has gold chains and jewelry and wants to wear the best things. Because when they're not looking at rappers or different artists or celebrities, they're looking at people on the ground level. There's not a lot of black men that are standing in their power, that are standing on their knowledge and intelligence. you know uh I mean, from the woman that look down on these men, their own women look at them as less than. The world is looking at them as less than. The all the way up to the top, the Donald Trumps. These people have systems in place, eliminating affirmative action, eliminating systems to help black men grow. And this isn't a political conversation, because I really don't care about either party, because it's duality. But that's neither here nor there. um, you know, uh, they're asking you to pick night or pick day when really you need both. When you need, what's about balance. But at the end of the day, black man, at the end of the day, there's systems in place so that you don't feel powerful. And when you do see a black man that moves around and feels powerful and feels like they're connected with God, it's like it's a problem. A lot of people don't like that. Well, you'll be surprised to find out how many people don't want to see you standing in your power. And if there's any other race watching this, all you can do is embrace this. Because if you don't embrace this, then you got to look within yourself and figure out what has you so triggered. Because at the end of the day, I'm speaking to black men for a reason, because you are in a position where you have such an ability to, and you have the ability to hold so much power and frequency and change this world. But right now, so many of us are asleep. So many of us are in a stupor. So many of us are performing under our potential. And so I'm making this a wake-up call to say, stand in your power, be the best version of yourself, and don't let the world try to make you small. The world's going to try to make you small, but don't let them make you small. Stand in your power. There might be times you doing your own thing, listening to your music, and it makes some other person feel uncomfortable. Who cares? You might speak highly of yourself and a girl might roll her eyes or feel some type of way. Who cares? People might call you, they might say, oh, you look too ghetto, you look too tacky, you look too this, you need to, people don't understand, as a black man, you got to go out into the world and you got to speak like them. You got to dress like them in order to get respect. You got to, adapt to their world, right? You know what I mean? Because if you listen to your rap music, they look at that as less than. If you wear your hair long with natural locks, they look at that as a threat. You know what I mean? If you dress or if you speak, naturally the way you like to speak, that gets looked down upon. But if you look at a white man, and this is no disrespect, I love my white guys out there, and my white guys that listen to me, they know what I'm talking about. This is spiritual conversation. This isn't physical black and white. This is a spiritual conversation, because in corporate America, everybody has to talk like a white guy. You know what I mean? In corporate America, you can listen to rock and roll. There could be a guy that's listening to rock and roll and it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? In corporate America, you can have long hair. You know what I mean? And where it's still be able to put on a button up and not get bothered at your job, and it's not a big deal. And I know there's people going to say, "Oh, look, everybody has their challenges," but I'm speaking to black men right now, and I'm telling you, we no longer need to feel ashamed, or you feel like you got to turn your music down when you're in the elevator because it's too loud and you don't want to look no type of way. Where you got to change your voice all the time and talk like this super proper guy. You know what I mean? Just to keep your job. I understand it's about being professional, but we got to take pride in our culture, because what I start to realize is the things that we do in order to integrate in society, a lot of the time you don't realize how much shame there are, how much shame exists for Black men in this society. So, that's all conditioning. That's years and years of conditioning and programming. And this new energy, a lot of this stuff I talk about when it comes to channeling that energy from the top, as above, so below, it's our job to bring this energy down and to stand in our power, because things are changing. And whoever is smart is going to align with this energy, align with the Black men around you that are positive and of powerful energy. And I'm here to inspire that. Obviously, the ones that aren't there, that are still asleep, let them be asleep. You know what I mean? We ain't here to save the Black community. I don't care about all of that. But for the ones that do understand my message, I'm here to say, stand in your power. We need you to stand in your power. You are a symbol. You are a symbol of power that needs to be seen for those young Black men growing up. And you don't have to be a celebrity. All the people, a celebrity and all of this. No, let them see you, whatever you do. Let them see you be the representation. There's a little kid out there, they're going to look up to you before they look up to anybody on the television screen. Because a lot of this stuff on the television screen is fluff. And that's straight like that. So that's my message. Shout out to everyone that's listening. Make sure to like and subscribe. Be powerful. Let the God within shine bright. It's the one and only 5D Transformations. Peace.